Welcome to NewsNation's Backscroll, where we look back at our major news coverage on the most important topics and personalities of our time.
Why are they so mad? We're not even over by them.
If anything happens, drop down. Try to as low as you can.
Different things are here to prevent the cartel from acting, but it doesn't mean that they're not always watching what Border Patrol is doing.
They want to know every detail and what it is that they can do to surpass us.
I'm behind you, bro. I did see those two sedans, gray in color, just ahead of us.
We don't know who they are, so what we try to do is prevent them from entering the United States, entering our communities, and blending in with our innocent citizens.
We are the first national media to come out with Border Patrol to this island. Is there a threat level to us right now?
There's always a threat level.
Hey, I'm Allie Bradley with NewsNation, and we just got off a Border Patrol boat here on the Rio Grande in Roma, and we were just down here with a known cartel, what they call a scout house, from the Cartel de Golfo. And while we were there, what we saw and what we experienced was pretty shocking. It was like a surge of people, some of them throwing rocks. It was a pretty wild adventure. Take a look. Why are they telling them to back up?
Because they're throwing rocks. We're in anticipation of the other boat. Excuse me. You're sick? Mm-hmm. You're sick? Ma'am, I'm sorry. Here you go.
Yeah, they're throwing rocks.
You can do me a favor, you can move this way, ma'am.
Why are they so mad? We're not even over by them. So do you guys need help?
Yeah.
It's because they're taunting them now. That guy just pulled his pants down. It was interesting. They all ran down like it was they needed to respond or something.
Keep in mind the location that we were at. The house that is on the Mexican side, the cinder block home, does have lettering on there. What is the lettering? CDG, Cartel del Golfo. Everybody knows about the Gulf Cartel. That in itself lets you know the location that we're at, how we have to be a little more vigilant in those areas. The moment the boat swiftly just cruised right by there, it was a clear area, a clear home, and people of all ages came out. I even saw young kids in that areas, males, females. They came out right away to show their presence.
Yeah, that was interesting, and that's normal. That's what is that?
Very.
Is that them saying like strength in numbers, or what?
It can be something them trying to do, a scare tactic on us.
Okay.
Right? Something to show their presence, that they're there, and obviously they've come out of that house that has that lettering on it.
Now you guys obviously armed up at that point, got your rifles ready. What was a concern there for you to basically draw your rifles out?
Our safety first was our manpower on the boat, right? We had film crews with us at the moment. We wanted to make sure that everybody on the boat was safe. We have to keep in mind that this riverine unit, these riverine agents that you see in these tan shirts, they are the first line of defense. And that incident right there proves it. It proves the dangers. It proves what type of people could potentially be trying to make an illegal entry into the U.S. Yes, they were saying, do you need help? But by their gestures, by them coming out in numbers in a show of force, do you really think that they wanted to offer us any type of help?
Now, I swear I saw, and I could have been wrong, but I swear I saw some rocks go. Did you see any?
It could have been. I didn't observe any. I was trying to make sure to see where people were at and where their hands were at, and if they were reaching for anything on their body.
And thank you for prioritizing our safety and making sure that we were out of the way. When it comes to that location, what do you guys see come out of there? Do you see drones? Do you see drugs coming out of there? What is that natural state
that
of
is
that
what
area?
we refer to as a scout house. A scout house, somebody keeping eye. That's usually when we do have drone activity in this area. That is usually where a drone will launch out of.
So it's a known location for you
It
guys
is. It's a
too.
very well-known smuggling location, a very well-known scouting area.
And it's an area where there's a lot of people, so it's hard. And then, like, doing recreational things, we saw people.
That is correct. There was a mix, but if you did notice, Ali, nobody was even outside of that house when we were, talking, riding along the Rio. But as soon as we approached that area,
rush
people
of
came out. We're
was
talking about 10 to 20 people.
That was
just
intense.
came out and quick. Things
and hollering
happened very quick.
Yeah. And that's a testament to, like you said, your training and the Border Patrol's training.
Right.
And what you guys
it's a
do.
very true testament how we believe in our training. We always revert back to our training, our day one training skills from the U.S. Border Patrol Academy. You got to witness firsthand how quickly agents moved into action, how quickly we communicated over the radio, how quickly firearms were passed. Hey, you keep watch. We all have one another's back, and we're there to safeguard more than anything.
Thank you. We appreciate that. When it comes to the safety and security side of it, and something like that happens, do you get nervous, or is that just you go into lockstep into that mode?
Yeah, I'm focused. I'm focused on our mission, on safeguarding everyone who is inside, making sure that nothing else is going on to either side of me, and communicating with one another.
Someone once told me within the organization, not an agent, but somebody else, once told me that it is not your job to safeguard the nation. What would you say to that person?
It is. We took an oath. There's somebody right there, taking pictures. It's a public location. So you're being surveilled on both sides of the border.
Yeah, and you don't know who that is.
That is correct.
And the cartel pays American citizens to do
Correct.
dirty work too.
Correct.
And the cartel operates on the U.S. side as well, as a DEA
money-making organization. That is
Right.
correct. You also see some people fishing on one of the islands that we talked about while we were up in the bluff.
So look at that, Richard.
Something to keep in mind is that they weren't there when we were up there.
Right,
now
we were
we're
in
hitting
a
the
different
water.
posture,
They
right?
know there's more presence. A lot of times they want to know what it is that we're
I
up
don't know what
to.
they mentioned, but hopefully it doesn't happen. But if for some reason we do take rounds, if you can just drop down and preferably hide behind one of these right here.
Got it.
On this side.
Okay.
If we do, you never know.
Sounds good. Get down there. Because rockings have increased from what I understand.
That is correct. You do see a lot of rockings in the Arizona area, obviously due to the terrain, but it is something that we have seen in this area, and a rock is considered a deadly weapon.
So, if they throw a rock at you from one of these islands and then run back, Can you do anything?
Like I mentioned, we do have a close working relationship with the government of Mexico. So phone calls are made and there is a procedure for that. We do utilize them, I would say, more often than not. When we do have scouting activities, we just saw, remember, a few months back when there was that shooting incident in Fronton, they did assist us with saturating the area with their personnel to see what intel they could gather.
Do you think that would have been the same response from Mexico a year ago?
Quite possibly, yes, because we have always had that close working relationship with Mexico.
Okay. Yeah, that guy is very interesting up there.
Right, right. And he has a long lens camera.
Yeah. Very interesting. He was just over there, and then he hightailed it over here. But it looks like he's an Astros fan, so he must be.
It does. He must be legit.
Oh boy.
Astros is, just one of the things that I've learned while on the job. The Astros logo is also for one of the well-known gangs in Houston. Tango Blast.
Okay, I was
like
going to say it's not
if
Pisces,
no,
right?
no,
It's Tango Blast.
Tango Blast.
Didn't y'all just get a Pisces member?
We did. That is a prime example of the illegal aliens that we want to keep out of our communities to safeguard our nation and to keep everybody safe.
Where did that individual cross, do you know?
It was here in the Rio Grande Valley sector. I want to say that it was in McAllen.
Mm-hmm. Does that get different? Everybody has different issues in their AORs in their sector, or not sectors, but at their stations. Does the traffic, is it different there? Or is it just where the cartel wants to push people that day?
Remember, all illegal activity, whether it is human smuggling or any type of narcotic smuggling, all of that is cartel based. So they're the ones who dictate who crosses where and what crosses where. So in the Rio Grande Valley sector, you'll see that the Rio Grande City Station has always seen larger number of narcotics crossing in the area. Brownsville as well. McAllen Station, we would see a lot of family units crossing.
Is that the distraction element, or what? Why is that? Why would it kind of skip? Why would the drugs go on? Because Brownsville and Rio Grande,
they're on opposite ends, right? But keep in mind, those are the exact opposite ends of our area of responsibility.
Okay.
And that's not to say that narcotics do not cross through the filler stations, because they do. We have seen that. But it's like everything else, it seems to be trends and cycles.
And it's kind of on a scene, right? So it's like if they go on the outskirts of the sector or the AOR or whatever, then they have a better chance of maybe having agents not cross over or something like that.
It very
right?
well, it could possibly be. And also, remember, we do have different ports of entry in between, and we are seeing larger numbers of hard narcotics being caught at those ports of entry, and I'm talking about very dangerous narcotics, fentanyl.
Yeah. Are you getting fentanyl smuggled in between the ports, or is that more marijuana?
It is more marijuana, cocaine, those types of gateway narcotics.
So why would they move fentanyl at the ports, which just has a way higher likelihood of being caught, than moving it through?
I'm sure.
Or do you think there's stuff that we're not getting?
Could quite possibly be, right? We are at a 95% decrease. So, there is a small gap, right? It's very small, but it still exists. Mm-hmm. We need to keep in mind that because they were making more money smuggling humans than they were smuggling marijuana, because people can cultivate that here in the U.S., right? So how is this cartel how are they going to make their money and keep their organizations going when we're at a 95% decrease of human smuggling, of illegal entry? So what they're doing is making their money now by crossing these narcotics, taking the risk at crossing those types of things to make their money.
So are you seeing an increase in that stuff? When you compare it to, 6 months ago or whatever? Are you
Absolutely,
seeing?
we are seeing an increase
Between the ports?
between the ports of entry and at the ports as well.
Interesting. And it's all drugs.
That is correct.
Wow. Okay. So they are. I mean, they are. We always were wondering how they were going to make that $13 billion a year, right? Because that's what they were making with the bodies.
Correct.
And now they're switching back to the old way, right? Because that was our old market, was drugs.
Absolutely. A lot
right?
of turf war is who is going to cross their product through what specific location, and that was the hot commodity.
And then they found out they could make money with people. More money.
Absolutely, and they were making more money.
And then those people were then beholden to basically indentured servants to them and would have to pay them more once they got to their destination.
Right, correct. It wasn't just
one and done.
a simple fee of paying $400 or $500 to cross literally from the Mexican riverbank to the U.S.
Yeah.
Your journey continues, and a lot of illegals think that that's it. They've made it in once they've stepped foot into the United States, when in reality their journey is just beginning.
Yeah, they took your picture. They know who your mom is back in Venezuela. They know all these things, and they will hold that over you and make you run drugs for them and make you work in the interior or wherever you are. That's what we see.
And which is why we do have HSI.
Yeah,
that's why HSI exists. We deal with the United States Border Patrol deals with the smuggling aspect of it, and HSI and their entities deal with the trafficking portion of it.
Now, Christina, I know a lot of in this area in the past. I haven't seen it lately, and maybe you have, and it just hasn't been reported. In the past, this was one of those areas. Roma was seeing a lot of unaccompanied children coming over on rafts. Is that happening still? Are you guys getting unaccompanied children here?
No, it is extremely rare that we see that now, and not just to say in this specific area, but all across the Rio Grande Valley sector.
Yeah, it dipped from I think it was some 14% of people or something were unaccompanied, and then it went down to like 0.04 or something crazy. And when the numbers dropped, so did the unaccompanied children.
Absolutely. Very, very change, something different around here, because historically the Rio Grande Valley sector has been #1 for unaccompanied children.
Yeah. Now, does it feel more dangerous to you because the cartel's more desperate? Does it feel like, as an agent, that because over the last 4 years you weren't really in the way of the cartel, so to speak, because the processing of the individuals, the court dates came later. It wasn't at your guys' hands. You guys still did your job by apprehending people that came in illegally. So you weren't really in the way of the cartel's business. Now you are. Under this administration, do you feel that it's more dangerous down here now?
You know, Ali, there's many risks along the Rio Grande River, but there's always risks within this job. Regardless of the administration, there's always a risk, and that's why we're here, and that's why we do what we do.
Do you feel like it's worth it, putting your life on the line every day, having projectiles, having drones that could be bomb wielding, hovering over you? Is it worth it to you?
Absolutely. To safeguard our nation and our families, our brothers, our sisters, it is absolutely worth it. And that is what we took an oath for, and we are the United States Border Patrol.
Honor first, right?
Correct.
And there's a lot more of you right now because you're not processing and transporting.
Correct.
So you're actually able...
We're able to be on the front line, boots on the ground.
There's excitement behind your job now. It's not like, okay, I'm going to the job, I'm going to go to the processing center and be doing paperwork all day. You're actually out on ATVs, you're actually out on the horses, you're on the boats, you're doing the things you, as you said, signed up for.
Right. We are America's front line. You do feel excited, right, to do what you signed up to do.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of people that have negative things to say about law enforcement, about, agents and things like that. And it's just so interesting because they always bring race into the card when the Border Patrol is, I think it's 52% Hispanic or something like that. And you're like, no, this is my community that I'm protecting. This has nothing to do with going after a certain nationality or a certain person. You came across the border illegally. We're here to apprehend you and find out who you are so you can't hurt our family.
That is absolutely correct. We talked about the apprehension of a Paisas gang member. Would you want that person to be your neighbor?
I don't think I would. We are the first national media to come out with Border Patrol to this island. This is Fronton Island, or it was better known as Cartel Island. Now it's completely cleared off. They're not seeing much activity here during the daylight hours because there's nowhere to hide. So we were just in an area where, of course, is still being exploited by the criminal cartels. Those islands have not been cleared off. They are not seeing this clearing that we have been seeing here, but you can see there's fortification here. Different things are here to prevent the cartel from acting, but it doesn't mean that they're not always watching what Border Patrol is doing.
Where's the hot spots for a traffic guard?
Right now it's on the upriver side.
But not
cutting,
here.
Not here.
Not on the island.
Ones and twos, but they've been upriver.
That we
I think the girls pushed back a group they ran into, and it was by the 154, the one I called out on the way in. But I mean, said it was weather, so. It's a little bit where that river bends over there. That's where we cut the landing. We saw their footprints in the water and everything. It was the river was lower, so you could see through it.
When was that?
About a week and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
Week and a half ago.
Did somebody just call out bodies in 154 just a little bit ago? Isn't that what we heard
Yeah.
on the radio?
They said it's possible because the last time the 154 banged out was when those 6 went back.
Okay.
Yeah, when he says banged out, the sensors. Right?
Yeah. So that's right around the river bend
Yeah,
there?
it's right there where the river bends. A little bit upriver, it'll be the 154.
Okay. Why is it called that? Is it a mile marker?
It's just a sensor.
Oh, it's a sensor. Okay. Got it. Interesting. So they would just cross right here and do whatever they wanted, move drugs, whatever, over there, hang out on this side of the river until it was clear and then into the U.S.? How many people do you think came across Fronton Island?
Oh, I mean, there's no telling what used to happen on this actual island before it was actually cleared out. There was a lot of cartel war that took place, fighting for territory, a lot of gun violence in this location.
Now, the recent shots fired that came over from the Mexico side, was that in this general area, or where did that happen?
Yeah, it was around this area.
Why would they fire shots over here in a cleared out area? I mean, what was their intent? To
get agents out of the area, to clear the area, to make their presence known.
Does that worry you that even in a space where, agents are a threat, but they're not? This area is so open, for them to be in the way. Does it worry you?
Right. No, it doesn't, because it can happen anywhere. As we saw earlier, we were right basically on the riverbank, and we saw a lot of presence from adversaries. So it can happen regardless of the area that you're in.
Now, these little shacks up here that are pretty run down, obviously, they're not really inhabitable from what I can tell. Are those scout sites? Are those locations where Mexican cartel members are watching you guys operate and trying to keep the high ground on you, or what is that used for?
Absolutely, that's what it is. Anything that is high ground is an advantage for them over us, to maintain visibility, to see where it is that we're at. A lot of these houses that are out here, we do see a lot of drone activity.
So if a drone flies up from there, its intent is to probably hover as close as it can, if not make an incursion into the United States, to see what you guys are doing, to see where they can move something nefarious, or people.
Counter surveillance. That's what it is. They want to know how many units are out here, how many agents are on the ground, how many agents are carrying long arms, what it is that we're doing, if there's any boats in the water. We always say we do our pre-shift musters, and they do theirs, to know what it is that they're working with that day.
And they don't have, time clocks. They don't have restrictions like we do that they have to follow. They can work around the clock. They don't have overtime laws and issues, right? They can go for days on end and operate however they want to, because they don't have kind of checks and balances.
Exactly, but they do it for monetary gain. They're part of the cartel. The cartel is a money-making organization, very well organized, and these people that work for them, I'm sure that a lot of them are forced into doing it in order to be initiated into the cartel.
Now, you said that they look and see how many of you guys are carrying long arms.
That is correct.
Are they trying to see what they're up against? What
Exactly.
are sizing
That's
you guys up?
exactly what it is. They want to know. They want to take count of it. Just like they do with the boats. They know how many boats it is that hit the water, how many agents are on that boat. They want to know every detail and what it is that they can do to surpass us.
Is their intel better than ours?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I can tell you that something that the Border Patrol can always benefit from is more manpower, infrastructure, and technology.
Because from what I understand is their drone capabilities, things like that, because they don't necessarily have the same restrictions that the United States does, sometimes they have the upper hand on us. They have the high ground, but sometimes with their capabilities, they might have better technological advances than we do.
I mean, it could be right, but we always revert to our training, and the Border Patrol is very well known for the training that we do go through.
Yeah, it's very, 6 months academy?
Yes, very rigorous.
Yes.
Rigorous training. Some people do say that we have the hardest academy.
I've heard that, absolutely. What is the significance of us being on this island today? From what I understand, we're the first media to be able to access this island?
There has been media out here, but that you all are out here officially with the United States Border Patrol.
Because in the past, you guys weren't allowed to isn't the word, but you didn't have the permission to guide media out here in this capacity, right?
That is correct, and there was very different the circumstances, right? There's a very high threat level in this area, and we do have to make sure that everybody's safety comes first when we're out here.
Is there a threat level to us right now?
There's always a threat level, no matter the area you're at, whether you're in Fronton or just patrolling the city.
Now the other islands, we talked briefly about it, but the other ones, we saw an island where people were fishing earlier. You said you believe that one should be cleared. There's other islands that have been discovered that are the United States territories. Do you believe all of those islands, if they met the requirements to do so, should be like this, should kind of undergo what Operation Flat Top was to clear this out so there's less places for the cartel to operate?
Absolutely, absolutely. That would be of high gain to us as agents to have more visibility, to know what threat level it is that we're up against. And when it comes to agent safety, that should be the #1 priority.
Giving agents more space to work, right? And more
space to
visibility.
work, more visibility. I mean, that just makes everything safer for us to know what it is that we're up against.
So how do you get the high ground on the cartel, Agent Smallwood? I mean, everywhere I've gone, and we've kind of mentioned this, they always have the high ground on us. They always have a vantage point that is better than we do. Almost every spot I've been along the southern border. So how do you get that high ground metaphorically?
Our technology, our aerostats, different cameras that we have in the area. We also rely on our aerostats, our riverine unit. Those are the majority of the technology that we do use to counter surveil.
Do they have boats? I haven't seen a lot of
We
cartel
rarely
boat
see that out
activity.
here. We rarely see that out here. You do. There has been times where they do use boats, mainly to cross narcotics over something where they can move extremely fast and try not to be detected.
More of like a raft or something.
Kind of
like
a little
that. You're not
fast
gonna
boat.
see- Okay, you're not seeing something like what we have.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you're not seeing
I've
a
never
vessel.
seen
You're
that.
not seeing a
Yeah,
vessel.
never. Okay, what is your biggest concern now in this area? I mean, it's pretty well cleared. There's not a lot of places for people to hide.
Maintaining visibility.
Okay.
Staying high, we refer to it as high vis, making our presence known in this area, and we do that by numbers, by show of force.
Is that a newer posture? Because that is what I've understood to be kind of the newer directive, is to have that high visibility posture. In the last 4 years, it was more, they're going to cross inevitably, wait, and then catch them. Now it's this high visibility posture to prevent anyone from even trying to come over here. Is that
Well, that
right?
is correct. Keep in mind that we are at a 95% decrease in apprehensions. What does that mean for us as far as advantage goes is that we can have more boots on the ground. There's more agents that don't have to be behind a computer processing. They don't have to be doing intake. They don't have to be waiting for transport. They can actually be out here patrolling, doing the job that they signed up for.
What kind of numbers are you guys seeing? You might not know the exact stat, but on average, like what are you guys seeing now compared to when there was a surge or when you had a peak here? What are you seeing?
Numbers fluctuate. We're seeing on average around anywhere from 30 to 50 apprehensions
A day?
Correct.
That's way low.
Extremely.
It feels like you're joking.
Extremely low.
Yeah, because the Del Rio sector is seeing 19 to 50 a day.
Right, extremely low.
It's shocking.
Keep in mind that Rio Grande Valley sector used to be the busiest sector.
Okay, so obviously it seems really calm right now. Is that the norm down here? Is that what's normal?
You said it. You just said it right now. It seems calm, right? We see some recreational people just enjoying the river. That's what it seems like to a regular.
I'm sorry. There's some
Oh, okay.
Perfect timing. So that's what it seems like to anybody who isn't used to working with the Border Patrol in this specific area. Just right now, we were just minutes shy of 3 to 4 illegals that made entry. We do have boots on the ground trying to locate the vehicle that they entered into. You can see here, it was literally seconds ago that you said that it seemed pretty quiet here, and we can see Government of Mexico officials
and we have
right across.
An airboat too showing up, so we've
That's
got
correct, and that's
reinforcement.
that is one of our Border Patrol boats.
Now that's different from AMO, right? Or is that the same?
No, this is different.
Okay.
We're all under a DHS CBP, but this is part of the Border Patrol Riverine Unit.
Now, are they just doing their normal route, or are they going after someone, or do you know?
They're just trying to see, because at the same time that those 3 to 4 illegals made that illegal entry, there was a drone flying in the area, so somebody was scouting. Usually what they do is they try to push people in strategic locations, so that way they know that agents are all reporting to one area, so then they'll try to push, to either side of us, either east or west.
Task saturation.
Correct.
So they go, look over here. This is shiny right here. There's 4 people getting in a car. Put your resources there, and then they're sending something more nefarious. Possibly in a hole where we're not.
Very possible, and more than likely that is what it is. They see us here, they know that we're filming, they know we're not going to move this exact area. Boats is here, Mexican officials are just on the other side. Very saturated area at this moment.
So does that worry you that we're not where they are?
We have enough boots on the ground out here at this moment, so I feel pretty secure, and like always, we always resort to our Border Patrol training.
How long have you been an agent, Christina?
I've been an agent for 17 years.
Thank you for what you do.
Appreciate it.
Do you enjoy what you do?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I have the best job ever. I get to be out here and I get to represent my country. It's the best job out there.
There you go. And hey, if people sign up now, they get $20,000 incentive.
That is correct. That is correct. There's a lot
There
of
you go.
incentives out there right now. And honestly, I've been in 17 years, and I can proudly say that this is the best time to join the United States Border Patrol.
You guys do you feel like you have a lot of support right now?
I do, absolutely. Absolutely.
Would that be one of the biggest differences, do you think, in just the last 6 months? Is the support factor shifting, or did you feel supported 6 months ago too?
I feel supported all over, from all different types of aspects, from VIPs in Congress to citizens of the community. We feel the support at this moment.
Good.
Like we said earlier, it's so-called recreational activities,
Distractions.
but keep in mind distractions, and that island that is just right here to the right of us, that island has been known to either stash bodies, illegals, or also stash narcotics. Wait until agents are clear of the area, and they'll try to make their product across.
And then they say, oh, it was recreational. We were just going over here.
Right,
but they're actually dumping
correct.
something
Because
off.
somebody can come out here and say, oh, everything's clear out here. We just have, it's a weekend. People are recreationally utilizing the river.
So is this island, who controls this? Is this Texas? Is this feds? Who operates on this? Texas?
Yeah, Texas.
Okay. Are they going to clear that one off? I guess that's a Texas question. Huh?
Right, that is that there's different factors that come into play because they also have, you know, the wildlife that's in there, different plants that grow. They take all these factors into account.
But it's still being utilized by
Absolutely.
smugglers and by Cartel?
Absolutely.
Wow. How does that make you feel?
That it should be cleared out, that it is something that we do have to keep high visibility in this area.
Yeah, because it's not very accessible.
Not very
Right?
accessible,
It's-
and keep in mind, it's not very far.
Yeah, it's not very far at all. So are they coming across here, going there, and then taking a raft over, or what? Like how is
Any
this?
area,
How does this
any
go?
area that they feel or that their surveillance thinks that is clear of agents, and not just Border Patrol, but keep in mind we work in very close collaboration with our local, our state, our federal partners, and you'll see them along the highways and along these back roads here, so they know that there's high presence out here. So as soon as they feel that it's a tactical advantage for them, they'll take advantage of that.
How much river? How many miles of rivers through the AOR? Is it the whole thing?
It's the whole thing. We remember in the Rio Grande Valley sector, we start in Brownsville, all the way up to Falcon Dam.
Okay.
And then we have northern stations, which is the Falfurrias, which mans the Falfurrias checkpoint. We have the Sarita checkpoint along Highway 77, which is known as the Javier Vega Jr. checkpoint. And we also have our Corpus Christi station, which they also man our intercoastal waters.
Wow. Falfurrias, isn't that the busiest checkpoint
That is
in
the
the US?
busiest station, checkpoint station in the nation.
Yeah,
and it
that's
is
what I
one
thought.
of the newest checkpoints.
Gotcha. Is that Brooks County?
That is Brooks
Brooks
County,
County,
and Brooks
okay.
County has the highest illegal alien mortality rate
I was just gonna
within
say.
their ranches.
And they've had a really interesting kind of change from what the sheriff had told me, that they were seeing a lot more people dying from getting out and trying to walk and stuff like that, but they were seeing a lot more people circumventing the checkpoints
That is
and doing that lately.
That is correct.
It's changed a little.
Yeah, because they know that there's a consequence, so they're willing to take that risk to avoid being apprehended, and they get deceived, right, for a lack of better terms, thinking that it's a short walk when it isn't. You know, you're talking about the King Ranch, the Cages Ranch. These are huge, vast, and very isolated ranches.
And they'll say, oh, Houston's just an hour up the
It's
way.
just an hour.
Maybe by
Correct,
car.
correct.
And you're on foot and you're in the middle of the desert and you're,
Right.
with no navigation, no nothing. It's pretty crazy. I went to Brooks County when I first started my coverage, and they had a mobile morgue. They probably still have it. But 28 unidentified bodies were inside. And they were like, this is, we had to create this because we've just had this outrageous amount of deaths in our community, and the counties absorb it all. And
that
it was
is
just
correct.
pretty wild to see that.
Very treacherous terrain. I used to work at the Kingsville Border Patrol Station.
Okay.
So I have worked and walked a lot of that terrain, and I've felt the consequences of that terrain, right? The effects of it myself, and that's because I consider myself to be in fairly good shape. I'm trained for this type of work, and I feel it. So you're talking about somebody who isn't wearing the proper clothing, doesn't have the proper nutrition, isn't hydrated. We see a lot of cases of dehydration, even in the colder months. People believe that doesn't exist because it's cold, when in fact that is one of the number one things that we see here that people, lose their life over.
We will succeed and we will win. That's how we do it.
Every vehicle stop that you make or every encounter has its risks. He's under arrest right now.
Right now, they're offloading them into the facility.
What would happen if y'all weren't here, do you think?
I think there would be a lot of activity. They're going to take advantage of the path of least resistance.
So this is literally the boundary line right here that's
Right.
cut through.
Yep.
Do you think you need a wall?
We're here to support the community and make it a safer place for everyone to live.
It's really God's country.
Hey, I'm Allie Bradley with NewsNation, and we are out here with Border Patrol in the Spokane sector in Whitefish, Montana, and they actually just apprehended 5 individuals that they say are here illegally, so right now they're offloading them into the facility.
When they pulled them over, they identified a Mexican national and then a Venezuelan national. The Mexican national they've confirmed is illegally present in the country, so that's where you see he's under arrest right now. The Venezuelan, they're currently writing checks to determine whether or not he's has legal documents to be within the country right now.
So when they run those checks, that cross references with like the judicial database situation where if they have an NTA or they're going through an asylum proceeding or you guys have access to that information as well?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're not just sacking up people who have some kind of legal protection around them when you're out here?
No, they're running the full records checks on both subjects to absolutely determine whether or not they are legally present or not present in the country, and then effect the arrest if they're illegally present.
Now, you guys have been doing more of these arrests. Is there more danger for your agents? What is the biggest concern, if there is any, out here doing these kinds of targeted operations?
Sure. This is, they are a more risky operation in terms of making these encounters with subjects that have been in the country for sometimes a period of time, who have been working here, living here, and do not want to be arrested. And so, we take great efforts in terms of our planning process when we go and make these arrests and these encounters to ensure that everyone is operating in a very safe manner.
Does it concern you? Is there a heightened risk for a community when these, do you see pursuits? Do you see things that, are out of the ordinary for you guys right now, and that could potentially cause risk for your community as well?
So it can. Every vehicle stop that you make or every encounter has its risks, and that could result in a failure to yield, someone bailing out of the vehicle and running into the community. So absolutely. Anytime you make an encounter, especially in this kind of environment, there's always that risk. But again, our agents are extremely well trained and mitigate those risks as much as possible to ensure that their safety and the safety of the community is priority when we do these kind of encounters.
We're just on some targeted enforcement with Border Patrol.
Yes.
Tell me, how do you guys find these targets in the first place?
Yeah. So we have a very robust intelligence unit here in the Spokane sector and the Whitefish Station practically. So they do a lot of effort at using our law enforcement systems and identifying subjects that have criminal records that are working, living, operating here in this area. So they put a lot of effort into that. We've been very, very fortunate with the security on the southwest border, not having to send agents down to the southwest border, having to put agents in processing, do virtual processing. That opens us up now to be able to do more targeted enforcement efforts. And we're focused on the criminal aliens, right? That's what we're doing. So we had 2 targets this morning that we went after, that we had identified that were here illegally in the United States with criminal backgrounds. We didn't locate those targets, but we found a subject that was associated to them in a vehicle that we were looking for. And so he was illegal from Mexico, and right now the process of
Do we know what his criminal record is with the man from Mexico?
Yeah, so no, at this time we do not. So we're running his checks right now to look at, get the full background on that. But we do know he's illegally present in the country at this time.
Now, when it comes to the targeted enforcement operations, just like you were saying, you don't have to surge people down to the southern border anymore.
Yes.
Tell me about the increase in those targeted ops that you've been able to carry out here in the sector.
Sure, in Spokane, it's been a very robust effort, and it's been a whole government approach, working with ERO, HSI, federal, state, local partners across the board. northern border doesn't have the obviously the resources that the southern border does. The activity level isn't as high up there. So we work very closely with the partnerships here when it comes to targeted enforcement. And obviously the administration has made a very big focus. So we on going after that criminal element that's living, working, legally present here in the country. So we're doing that on a daily basis, and it's been a very robust effort from our units here.
Statistically, for consumer digestion,
Sure,
what would you
sure.
say the increase has been? Would you say you went from 5 to 500, or are we looking at like just a jump in a handful? What are we looking at?
No, we've made significant improvements on our targeted arrests here. I think we're well over 100% of where we were last year year to date, well over that. Right now we're seeing about 200 plus apprehensions so far year to date. The majority of those targeted enforcement arrests.
Wow. Now, what does that mean to your community? What would you want people to know about your efforts there?
We're here to support the community and make it a safer place for everyone to live. That's our goal. And so we can make an effective arrest on someone with a criminal background, a criminal record here in the United States, and remove them from the community. That's what we want. It's a safer place for everyone in the community when we can do that.
Now, Chief, obviously you've seen headlines, you've seen people picked up by ICE, picked up by the feds who weren't here illegally or something like that. Today, there was a man who was going through a legal process that you guys didn't arrest.
Sure.
Explain a little bit about your efforts and the fact that you're not just going around picking up innocent people.
Exactly.
Can you reassure your community that that's not happening?
Sure. So we investigate everyone fully. We use our law enforcement systems that we have in place to ensure that we're arresting the right people and removing the people that need to be butchered. So the other subject that was in that vehicle had a temporary protected status here in the United States. He was a citizen from Venezuela, and we didn't have the right to arrest him at this time. So he's still going through that immigration process. The other one didn't, and he'll be removed from the country.
Do you guys notate that? Is that in the system where, hey, his TPS is going to be up in September, we now know where he is, we're going to go find him later, or what does that look like?
Absolutely. So this is going to be someone that we're going to have as a potential target, right? So we'll look further into his background. They'll investigate that, our intelligence units, and if it's someone that we know is living here and his status is up, and for example, that would be someone absolutely we'd go and check on to make sure that he's left the country.
Is there concern for your community? I mean, obviously you guys are able to do more because you have more manpower.
Yes.
It's not necessarily because there's more of the illegal element here, but those statistics, some people might go, we've got this surge of people in Whitefish and in Kalispell and in the Spokane sector. Kind of explain that in a way so people understand that it's kind of statistically going up because you have the manpower to do it.
Sure. Now, we have not surged manpower to Spokane sector. We've just now been able to utilize the current staffing that we have in sector because we're not being deployed to the southwest border. We're not doing virtual processing. We're not sitting in those processing centers. So we can maximize those enforcement efforts here to target those criminals that we're going to be promoting, as well as patrolling the border. And you see, we've got a big border that we're going to go to tomorrow, a very remote, extreme border environment that we patrol on a daily basis. And that's our priority. So our priority is always going to be on the border. But when we have the available assets to go after some of these targets, we're going to do that as well. We're going to be able to do both.
Have you guys been asked to go into the interior to assist with ICE out, away from the border? I know if it has a nexus to the border, you guys can go anywhere.
Sure.
Have you been asked to go and supplement ICE on any of their interior enforcement?
So we do work with ICE on a regular basis, and interior enforcement for us, would be going, much further into, southern Washington and southern Montana. No, we stay a little bit closer into our sectors there of responsibility working with ICE. We have a number of targets that we're working with them on a regular basis. We have agents assigned to task forces that they're doing a lot of work with them also.
Okay, but the need isn't there yet. You haven't gotten the, we need you down here, come down to help us out
yet. We have
yet.
enough work here in the Spokane sector to stay focused there. We have, again, I think the ERO partnership is really good in this area. They don't, like everyone else, they don't have the assets that they need, so we need to help them and support them, and we do that on a regular basis. We support each other as a law enforcement community. This is something that's been a very big focus for us in this sector because we know that there's some action that needs to be taken, and we have the ability to do that. and that's very important for us. We have a fantastic group of agents here in this sector that are motivated and ready to do this every day, very well trained, and they do it the right way.
The day has continued to kind of produce some activity.
Yeah, progress, absolutely.
These individuals here, they were actually our initial target. Tell me about the apprehension.
Sure. So this was one of our original targets from this morning. We did not locate him early in the morning, but after we had made that arrest there, the agents still went out to conduct operations to try to locate that vehicle and that subject, and they did. And in the car were 4 other folks that happened to be illegally present in the country as well. So all 5 were arrested and are brought here to be processed, and will be ultimately turned over to ICRO for mobile proceedings.
Now, one of those individuals had several prior deports. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, so he had 4 previous encounters with Border Patrol where he was returned back to Mexico on previous occasions.
So is that why he was on the radar?
Yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely. Living here in town, running a business in town as well, and employing illegal aliens as well at town.
So we don't know yet what the individuals that were in the car, but likely somebody working with him or for him in some capacity?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's what we expect.
Now, when it comes to that individual, he was deported 4 times previously.
Sure, yeah.
Do you guys get a little alert in your system? Like, what is it? How does that work where you find them? Do you get a docket of the day, or what does that look like when you learn, hey, there's a guy in our community that's been deported 4 times?
Sure. So they've been investigating a number of folks in the area that with criminal backgrounds, and so through those links and associates, he popped up on the radar, and then he became a target before our Whitefish station.
How long does that take on average to get one of these targets? Is it a day? Is it weeks? Is it months?
Yeah, that's really hard to quantify, to be honest with you. So I couldn't give you an actual, time frame that it takes, but they do their due diligence, and it does take some time to locate these folks, that's for sure.
Awesome. Anything else, Chief, on this?
That's it.
On this app?
It's been a good day so far. The agents have done a really good job. Everyone came back safe, and that's what we expect.
So we're standing in the garage of what used to be a port of entry type situation in this area. Now what is it used for?
Well, right now, since this port of entry was shut down, the Whitefish Station adopted this building, and we use it as our forward operating base, because we're, as you drove up here, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get up here, depending on the road. So this is where we keep our equipment up here for either winter, summer. We'll be swapping these out with our ATVs here in the near future. And from here, it just gives the agents more time on site, in a sense, right? Because you have about a 3-hour between coming and going on their shift. So up here, we get an extra couple hours of work at the border, a little more opportunity to get out and see some things in the woods and explore other areas.
Is it necessary? Do you need the manpower up here to be
Absolutely.
Operating up here and monitoring this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? What's going on up here?
Well, the AOR works like a funnel anyway, so getting up here and being able to monitor what happens here. We do have tourist traffic that kind of arrives on the north side sometimes, Canadians and different people, and this is really one of the only routes to get in if they're going to bring a vehicle down. So having somebody at this location or able to respond to this and utilize this site to work out of, it's critical. And then we have our technology that kind of works as a hub through this place.
Okay, awesome. So you guys are able to monitor what's going on in the area through technology and things like that. You're able to get out in the field quickly. This is a good access point for the
Right.
border proximity,
We're at it.
right?
Yeah, we're absolutely
Okay.
we're right at the border. So.
Let's check out some of the inside here, Chris, and then we'll kind of go outside and look at the lack of infrastructure out there. So how many agents will work out of here any given day?
Generally speaking, as long as, depending on how many we have on duty, we're not a big station, but almost every shift and definitely every 24 hours somebody's up here to kind of work out of this facility.
Okay.
And then when we'll run, particular ops where we're going to come up here and we're going to go, for instance, snowmobile, and we're going to run several days. The guys will just stay here at the
You have bunks,
the FUB.
like they actually sleep in here sometimes
Yes.
if they need to? Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll stay out of, guys will stay out of here sometimes, several times a year, 2, 3, 4 days sometimes.
Okay.
And then we'll have, for instance, if we go into the park, you'll have, for instance, our horse patrol can come up and they can be here, and then they can do supply runs into the agents that are actually in the park setting up, where they're camping out there in Glacier Park on foot.
These are all things that you would never think of down at the southern border. Everything, has a different proximity. So the fact that you guys had to shift and adjust to make this work
for the vastness of this area. It's pretty cool to see how it all comes together.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so what's over here? Anything important? Anything I need to see?
Not necessarily. We just got we've got a garage and we have a skid steer in there because we have to kind of clear out our own snow and maintain this ourselves.
Really?
For the most part, yeah. And we have two generators, you know, because we're off grid right here. They run off of the propane tank. We do get the propane resupplied up here, but we're pretty much an off-grid cabin running on generators and solar panels up here. So.
I mean, a lot of the agents that I talk to, they're watching my stories and they're so jealous. They want to be up at Whitefish. They want to be up here. I mean, aside from the beauty of it, it's a really tough area, right? I mean, everything is far away. You're living off generators up here, things like that. Why do people want to come up to this area? Why do they want to be in this sector?
Well, it's a beautiful place to work. I think just living here, we're all part of the community. It's not a large community, but we're tight with the community. We have a North Fork Association community that lives along this North Fork Road that we all know really well. Just working in the AOR, it's absolutely stunning to work in this AOR. It's challenging. I mean, you've seen the peaks. We have 6, 8, 10,000 foot peaks, but it's really God's country. I mean, it's a beautiful place to work.
Yeah, everyone's jonesing for it, man. They're all like, we want to be up in Montana. You're so lucky. Let's go outside and let's see some of the beauty of it, but also kind of some of the issues you guys and challenges you have out here. So there, I mean, we're looking out here, Chris. There's literally nothing. That is the entry into Canada right there. Correct. So do you think that there's something that's necessary right there? Do you need something right here? Or is this good enough? I mean, you've got a gate, I suppose, but is that a
bit of an
security?
upgrade to the infrastructure would be helpful. We have had people, and sometimes it's just, we've had people come down as tourists, and then just something to really make it clear. Don't cross over here, and same from this side when people come, so that it's very clear, don't cross that. Because this little section, we have the slash, and you can see it going up that way and that way. But this is a place where we can drive to. Everything else is going to be on foot, horse, or in the wintertime we can take the snowmobiles up when the snow's deep enough. Okay. But just having this secure a little bit more would help, you know, just because it's not.
Now, do you think you need a wall, or is it more vehicle barriers that you would think?
More vehicle barriers. I think vehicle barriers would probably be sufficient up here. Something in the slash perhaps, or on one side or the other, because when the snow gets deep enough, it's pretty easy to get a snowmobile through up here.
So what kind of illicit activity is happening? Are we just seeing people trying to cross it illegally? Are drugs moving across the border? What's happening between the northern border and the United States right now?
This AOR, we're not seeing much of that. We've had some northbound traffic that's gone into Canada with guns actually here just a couple years ago, and we've had people come up here and scout this, that we're pretty sure they're coming up and they're scouting this area. I think the remote nature of not just this side but the other side in Canada, it's so remote, it makes it less attractive for them. We do have to monitor. We have the North Fork River over here, and we monitor that pretty close for if anybody wants to come in on a kayak, because they can actually float
that
right
happens
down. Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's probably there's any markings in the river or anything to show, hey, you've now gotten into a different country?
Yeah, there isn't, but okay. we monitor it with technology, and then we've had people that have actually requested and been granted basically a crossing permit, and they've worked it out to do it legally, and it takes a little bit of work on their end to do it. But
there's a little demarcation line right there. That's the slash that you're talking about right here.
You can come up here, you can kind of see.
So now when it comes to the guns going out, law enforcement down the southern border have told me that means it was a successful transaction of something coming in. The guns and illicit cash kind of things going north or south are generally an indication that cartel or a criminal organization was able to get something into the country, and that's kind of going out as payment. Is that something that you...
That wasn't the situation we had was more of just sort of one individual U.S. citizen that kind of went a little sideways, and he broke into some houses, stole some guns, and then he went up into Canada with them.
Wow.
And then we worked with RCMP to help track him down once we'd kind of identified who he was, and then they did track him down.
What's that working relationship like with Canada? How is that?
It's outstanding. I mean, RCMP is a really top-notch organization. They have a huge responsibility, and they enforce so many different aspects of their laws. But when we have the opportunity to work with them, we share technology assets. They share their technical expertise in some areas on the technology we use, And it's a great relationship. I mean, they've never failed to respond, help, or in any way, anything we need from them. They've always been there for us. So.
Is the relationship with Canada stronger than the relationship with our neighbors in the south in Mexico?
I couldn't say. I couldn't say. I know just this up here with RCMP and the group we work with up here, FSOC. They've been outstanding.
Very responsive.
Very
helpful.
responsive,
Okay.
very professional, and kind of willing to try anything, help us in any way we can, and of course we'll help them any way we can. So.
Have they called on you guys for much help for any issues that are happening? Some of the agents that I talked to say that they've been seeing some people trying to go to Canada, and Canada kind of kicks them back into the United States, immigration related. Is that an issue at all in this sector, in this area?
Not in this area. It may be, we don't actually have an active port of entry, so we get a lot less of that type of activity and interaction that has to occur because theirs is completely shut down and ours is our fob. So.
Yeah. So this is literally the boundary line right here that's cut through? Yeah. Okay, interesting. And the river's right over here?
Right. We see where there's a red ball hanging there?
Yeah.
We have a tower there, and there's like a basket, and you can crank yourself across the North Fork River into the park.
What?
Yeah.
Like a zip line kind of situation,
Kinda,
but like
yeah,
controlled?
But very exhausting to do, yeah.
Can we do it?
It takes a while.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. That could
And
be a
then,
great
yeah, same
live
thing.
shot.
This runs up that way up into the mountain.
Okay. So, I mean, what is, you get a handful of people a year or every couple of years. Do you need the manpower? Do you need additional staffing? Are you guys sufficient where you're at? What do you need here right now, or is there a need?
Well, I think as far as the manpower, I mean, we're dealing with a 2-hour gap sometimes just because of shift change. We have enough people to run 3 shifts. We run 24/7, but sometimes we have those gaps, but we kind of make up the differences with technology. But as far as, what we did yesterday with the target enforcement operations, having more manpower would open up better opportunities for that in order to me, I look at it as what we do as far as the targeted enforcement operations is what reduces the influence of the networks in the United States to encourage people to cross the border, right? Because that's how they get the information, the financing, and the inducement to come here. So if you reduce the networks here, you don't have as much push from the south side. They don't have the information or resources to get here.
Gotcha. So what would happen if y'all weren't here, do you think?
I think there would be a lot of activity.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So if you removed yourself, then the criminal organizations would take advantage of your absence.
Absolutely.
Why do you think that? It's quiet.
Well, it's wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to take advantage of the path of least resistance. So if we give them a path of least resistance, they'll use it.
Okay. And your presence here and their cooperation and maybe a couple more things of infrastructure by way of vehicle barriers would kind of give that better opportunity for full operational control at
Yes.
the northern border as well.
Yes, that, more technology. It's just
Okay.
more of a, like a force multiplier type technology. The more we have, the better, because it's a huge area. It's 32 miles of border, more or less, that we have to cover, and it looks like this terrain. I mean, it's really difficult.
And I mean, like, say a camera hits, right? Say you get somebody on a camera. I mean, it's going to take you 2 hours to get to them, right? I mean, is it how hard is that to locate somebody or something that hits on one of these cameras that you guys are tracking? And
Well, a lot of terrain dictates the path, right? The terrain, we've got this one road that comes up, but a lot of the terrain will dictate that. Even out in this rougher country, most people aren't going to go over a 8,000-foot peak straight up and down. So we have the terrain to kind of work to our advantage, and we use that as much as we can.
Now, I don't know if you can speak on it at all, but when it comes to the Spokane sector in general, are illicit drugs, things like that, is that concerning? Is that something we're seeing? And then are we anticipating any influx in that with the pressure of tariffs right now? I mean, we've got tariffs on Canada. Is there pressure or concern that goods and drugs could be kind of smuggled in, that could be something that you guys are facing in the coming months or even years out here?
It's always a concern. I know historically Spokane had one of the issues that was when I got here several years ago was it was northbound. So it was northbound drugs and southbound cash. And now we have the issue of southbound drugs, northbound cash. It'll change. It depends on what the product is. It's gotten to be the most, useful or easier to move. So fentanyl's the big deal right now. They were moving a lot of meth north and then money south.
We briefly kind of touched on the relationship with Canada.
Yes.
Tell me how it's paramount to the security of the border up here. There's
Sure.
no infrastructure really
Yeah.
across the northern border.
Yeah, this whole government approach for us to secure the border is extremely important, right? The resources are limited in this area in terms of manpower, infrastructure, so that partnership is key. So RCMP does a really great job working with our folks here and across our whole 308 miles of land border that we have and the few miles of marine border that we have. And that partnership is critical, really, to the border security here. RCMP and the U.S. Border Patrol have, several priorities in how we want to ensure that we're detecting, identifying, and mitigating, any threats that cross the border with 100% certainty. And some of that is vehicle barriers, assistance when it comes to sharing information, especially on the criminal organizations that are operating in this area, and technology. So those pieces are very critical to our success here. Now, we will succeed and we will win. That's how we do it. But that partnership is key to ensuring that we meet that vision and that goal of protecting this border and protecting America.
When it comes to the vehicle barriers,
Sure.
Something that Chris was mentioning would be essential up here because especially when it snows, you can get snowmobiles over, all these different things. Are there conversations happening about those structures, those vehicle barriers with Canada?
Absolutely. That was a priority for us to identify locations along our 308 miles of border where vehicle barriers would be a good option for us to stop that cross-border activity, illegal activity.
Now, where are we at in the stages of that planning, talking,
Sure.
and from what I understand with the superintendent of BC?
Yeah, we're absolutely in the talking and planning phases of that.
Who would be fronting the money for that? Would it be a joint effort between the U.S. and Canada, or would it be the U.S. because it was kind of our ask, or was it hey, we both want this? What's going on?
We both want this. It's an ask from both sides. So in the conversations with RCMP, it's trying to identify who's going to pay for what section of border area. So we haven't gone that far yet. But it's not going to be something that the U.S. solely pays for because it's an ask from both sides.
Does it look promising? I know you said you're in the planning part of it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you what's the time frame? Could we see it in the next couple months or a couple years? What are we looking at?
I mean, I really hard to give you a time frame on that, but I'm always as soon as possible. So there's a lot of steps that need to take place for it to happen, but hopefully sooner than later.
Now, when we talked to Vice President J.D. Vance in Arizona months ago, the northern border Swanton sector specifically, they had some, 250% increase or whatever. It was something astronomical for their encounters. Obviously, it's not necessarily the case down here. But I asked him if he thought that there needed to be a structure or a wall. And he said it was more important to have that working relationship with Canada and for Canada to do their part. Do you agree?
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I don't believe that a wall is necessary right here. I do believe that vehicle barriers to stop that drive-through activity is absolutely important. The relationship with them, working with them on a daily basis, doing mirrored patrols, sharing intelligence, having boots on the ground is critically important, as well as all the technology that we have here to detect, identify, and mitigate, and that's our goal.
And you share some of that technology? Do you guys have access to each other's cameras, or is it more Kaka, we've got someone over here, they're coming your way? What does that look like?
Yeah, I really like to not talk real specifics on that kind of information when it comes to technology sharing, but there is an ongoing effort to share information and technology with the Canadian government.
And a trusted partnership there?
Absolutely,
with them?
yeah,
Okay.
with the law enforcement partners, absolutely, and it's a really good relationship, and on a first name basis type relationship from the top of the leadership all the way down to the boots on the ground.
Good. I don't think a lot of people know that, right? They see Canada and the U.S. kind of disjointed right now, so it's good to hear the insight from the people that are keeping America safe, that you guys do have that good, open, working relationship with them.
Yeah, we don't try to bring any of that stuff, into the day-to-day operations, boots on the ground, protecting both sides of the border.
Awesome. Anything I didn't ask you that our viewers need to know about this very vast and very remote area?
Yeah, as you can see, right, it's obviously beautiful, and PIC Young explained, that this environment and how challenging it is to operate in here, but our goal as the Border Patrol when it comes to, Northern border, southern border, and coastal border is 100% situational awareness and operational control of the border, and that means zero gotaways. So those are our priorities, and that's what we're working for, the remainder of this fiscal year and into the future.
Zero gotaways.
Zero gotaways, that's the
All right,
goal.
boss.
All right.
So we just wrapped up our exclusive ride along with Border Patrol up here in the Spokane sector. We're actually the first network to be able to do so. We spent a lot of time here in Whitefish, Montana, which is part of that sector. And this is the northern border. As you can see, there is no structural barrier. There is nothing up here. Chief Levy telling us that they are working with Canada right now. They're in talks and in the planning phases of getting some vehicle barriers up here to get some kind of structure up here to prevent vehicles and ATVs and things like that from crossing the border. The tariff pressure, that's also mounting, something that they're keeping an eye on. But Border Patrol, they will continue to do their mission, which is securing the border. So if someone's coming across the border illegally, doesn't matter what they're carrying. They're going to stop them, they're going to question them, and they're going to figure out what their intentions are. Thanks for watching this episode of Bradley on the Border.